whole men need to talk more. Yes, they do, but what facilitates the talking? Because you can't just, it's a bit like, tell me how you're feeling. I don't know what I'm feeling. Well, how can I tell you? It's like, you need to talk more. Well, I don't know what to say. I can't find the words. I don't know what the words are. So it's like, okay, well, what facilitates the talking? Everything you just mentioned facilitates the talking. The breath being, the breath is direct access to the nervous system, right? And the breath is the feedback to the nervous system in what's going on in our world, and how we breathe is one of the key triggers. And obviously there are certain practices that can take people into a different dimension, a different world by breathing in certain patterns. But on a day-to-day level, if we're breathing in a way that's telling our nervous system this is an unsafe time, which might sound dramatic, but if you're walking really fast, panicking about the emails that you haven't sent yet, and you're late to work, and you've got this every day on repeat, then you're going to be breathing in a way that's saying to your body, your nervous system, we're not safe. That's how it will interpret it. And from a place of not safe, it's not time to feel your feelings as such. Time to crack on, like take the action, do the stuff, go. And that feels normal and familiar. And then as it feels normal and familiar, it's our identity, it's our label, it's who we are. I'm just not a feeling person.
So welcome to the pod. Today I'm joined by Mr. Ben Bidwell. Ben is a human potential coach and a breathwork guide. I first met Ben about 8 years ago. He got in contact. And 8 years ago, I witnessed a really, really hungry man. He'd been through some kind of awakening, and he was really desperate and unbelievably committed to transform and to change the narrative around what it means to be a man. And we've not spoken for a while, but after having coffee with Ben this morning, it's evident that he's on his way to fulfilling that potential. It's great to hear his story about his life now and how he's stepping up, and all the incredible work he's done on himself over the last 8 years. And I want to really dig into his story of transformation to prove to any men out there that transformation is possible. Ben, good to see you, mate. It's been a few years, hasn't it?
It's great to see you, Craig, and I'm just grateful for the titles you gave me there, because I know there are a few other that came up at the beginning that we dropped, so I'm glad about that. But yeah, it's great to see you, Craig. Lovely to spend time with you.
How's London treating you, mate, these days? Are you getting itchy feet?
Well, we just walk through and we're like, what the hell are we doing here? It's a rush and it's a race, and I don't think it serves me.
It's busy, eh?
It's busy.
Yeah, I'm walking around the city, having left my hobbit home in Hebden Bridge in West Yorkshire, and walking around London, and whilst I love it on one hand, on the other hand, man, I just feel shriveled with a lack of trees and a lack of nature. But hey ho, people do have to live here.
It's a different world, and it's in my environment every day. And I don't think I don't think we're meant to live this way. Yeah. But listen, I have to take accountability because I'm still here.
For sure.
Yeah.
So Ben, you've been on a huge journey. You're still on a huge journey. So many turning points in your life, especially since I've known you, for sure. I know that breathwork has been a really kind of massive part of your journey, as it has with me. You know, so much so you became a breathwork guide. You're going to create your own breathwork program, school, to share it with the masses. So I'd like to dig into some of what you've been through and what's helped you to transform. But let's start by going back 8 years, just before you contacted me, just before you reached out. I don't know if we've ever spoke about this when I've been staying at yours or we've had coffee, but it seemed to me that you'd had some kind of awakening just before that. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, I wasn't intending to, but I did.
What did that look like for you, and how did it feel, and how did you navigate through it?
The sort of awakening, if you like, happened in a weird way. What comes to me when you say that is I remember sending my mum some flowers and telling her I loved her. And I'd always loved her, but I'd never been able to tell her. And I understand that my dad has never really been able to express himself either. So that's like a poignant moment, I remember. And I remember doing that, feeling so uncomfortable. And even more than that, I remember she was going to call me. Like, she would be so touched. I knew that. And I was kind of dreading the call, like knowing the flowers had been delivered. She would have read this note. Her son's just told her he loved her, and all this, what I'd classify at the time as cheesy stuff. And then she'd call me, and I'd have to talk about it. And I remember her calling me, and I just sort of tried to usher it away. You know, all right, Mum, like, you know, I've done that bit now. Just like, let's talk about something else. But I also remember putting down the phone, and a part of me being glad that I'd expressed that, feeling really uncomfortable. Yeah. But it was true. And I just expressed truth, and I know we've spoken about truth, and so there was a part of me that was grateful, and I was working with a coach at that time who was purely meant to be helping me around getting more sexual fulfillment, and you know, there's another part of me going, what the hell is sending flowers to my mum, telling her I love her got anything to do with sexual fulfillment? And I couldn't piece it together. I didn't know, but I was just sort of trusting, going on this journey. If it helps, then I have better sex, then great. I think at this point there was a sense of me that's like, this is actually deeper than just sexual performance. This is about me tapping into this part that wants to be nourished by expressing my truth. I was getting that slight sense. But ultimately, you know, my journey was started because I struggled to orgasm. Okay. I'd numbed myself to such a degree, and that was my body's response. Yeah. And that was what I was meant to be working on. And thank God the coach didn't say to me, listen, we need to open you up. We need to tap into your emotions, and let's embrace vulnerability and all the cliches. Because I would have been like, not for me. Yeah. Not interested, someone else. But she didn't, and I trusted and went on that journey.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for sharing that. And also thanks for sharing the piece around orgasm, but also, you know, kind of the desire to deepen your capacity to feel, you know, to feel yourself, because, you know, sexual energy is our life force, and if we can't kind of feel that, we're kind of numb to the world, right? So thanks for sharing that, because there are so many men out there who can't feel, you know, and sexual union is an ultimate intimate space of expression for us men, and if we can't feel, it becomes a dangerous place, an unsafe place, you know, a place where we check out of, a place where we might even be aggressive, or we just avoid. So thanks for sharing that, and we'll touch on that a bit more, but there's a lot of men out there that wouldn't be brave enough to share that, so we've made a great start here. Thank you. So there's been a innate kind of drive in you 8 years ago. Do you know what? I'm going to send my mum flowers, and I'm actually going to tell her and be present with her, you know, that I love her. And I'm telling myself that you've felt within yourself, why have I not done that before? Why does my dad not do that? Why does my brother not do that? What have I inherited? Where's it all come from? Like, and then what I'm telling myself, because it happened to me, is like, there's that, this lies with me. I've got to work this out. I'm going to change the narrative. It's been passed down over generations. I'm going to do something about it, yeah?
Yeah, totally.
So what happened next? Because I remember when you rang me, and I just thought, wow, who is this guy? He's so keen. Like, he's desperate, but also immensely driven to know himself on a really deep level. I left thinking that, and I know that we met and we shared some time together, and you did a couple of my retreats, and I genuinely wanted you to support me with further retreats. It didn't happen for various reasons, but even on those retreats, from the first one to the second one, I was able to see more parts of you coming through, but I know you've done so much more since then. But like, from that realization of, wow, I really can't feel so much in my body. I really am numb, but I want to really get in touch with this to experience life and the fullness of life. What happened at the start of your search, you know, beyond working with your first coach? What happened next? Where did you go? What did you learn about yourself?
Places like Men Without Masks. You know, the real sort of change for me came in those environments where I'd sit there and you'd experience the depth and level of connection that was possible in this world that was previously impossible to me. I didn't know existed.
Just for my viewers, the Men Without Masks was the former name of my retreats, that Ben's referring to. Please, Ben.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so sitting in those spaces and invariably judging the men as they come in, thinking he's a bit weird. Why is he wearing that? Why is he looking like that? Or he looks angry, or whatever might come up. Not really looking forward to spending time with him, and then through the days you start to see their story or hear their story or understand what shaped them. And then I start to think to myself, well, if I'd been through that, I probably would be like he is. And suddenly the judgment drops into kind of curiosity.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, and I want to understand more and learn about them and have compassion for them. And the judgment's dropped away, and then the judgment's dropped away, and I'm feeling connected to them.
Yeah.
Like my story is different to yours, but somehow it's similar. And so it really, everything that for me, everything's been driven by the search for deeper meaning and connection.
Yeah.
Because I knew it started to exist in experiences like your retreats and the other experiences I was having. And I wanted that. I remember, I'm sure you hear this all the time, but coming out of those experiences, being closer to these men I just met than friendships that existed for years, that had never gone beneath a bit of banter and playing sport and doing whatever, And I was like, well, it's great, I've had this for 4 days, but I want this in my life. I don't want it to come in and go out. So it was just a continued search. I'd say so much of my drive has been because I want to continue to connect in my world on that level, because it feels so nourishing to me.
Yeah. Let's just break that down a tiny bit before we carry on. So you've come on a retreat like mine, which was on your first one, quite different. A group of blokes coming together who you don't know, being courageous and vulnerable, and initially you felt yourself projecting outwards, as the men come in the room, which is a defense mechanism, right? You don't want to feel what's going on in your body, so you project a story onto other people, like we all do. And then you've heard the men share a piece of themselves. You've started to feel in your body closer to them because of their vulnerability. It's helped you yourself to be vulnerable. There's been a sense of relief in that, and a deeper connection, even in the first few days, even in the first day, right? A deeper connection on day one of that retreat, deeper than anything you and I have ever experienced with a rugby team. Far, far, far deeper. And you've left and you wanted more of that in your life. Before we go on to how you kind of stepped into more of that in your life, what else came up for you in that first retreat? Like, where were your other edges that you leaned into?
The biggest thing that I took, and I still take from the whole experience, is permission. I walked in as sort of started my journey thinking I am one specific man, and that was deprived me of so much of who I really was. And so, just understanding I can be this and that and that, and that's what makes me this, rather than just being like, this is me. Get on with it. That's how I am. And so if I'm that, I cannot be that, because the two are contrasting. And that's so, and I feel so many men live in that space, me being one of them, and I see it all the time now. It's like, so just a framework, permission, and to sink into each part and realize that actually it's innately in me already. I've just repressed it.
So you was able to access different parts / expressions of Ben that you'd hidden away. So you're left with more range.
And that's liberation. Because repressing part of who you are is it hurts.
For sure.
You can feel it. You're not being yourself. So I felt that carried that all the time. And it's a constant work on, that we're juggling these different parts, and they need different engagement and expression. And not to say you crack it, but life goes on, and you're trying to manage all those parts.
We'll come on to feelings soon, because it's been a big part of your journey and mine, and learning to be and allow our feelings, which is the language of our body talking to us. It's been a big part of our journey. But the lack of capacity to feel, the rigidity, the fear of feeling, the masks that we cover up our feelings with. where did the belief that it's not safe to feel arise in your life? Is it something that you just downloaded from the men and women in your life? Was it the media? Was it growing up in rugby? Like, what influenced you in the sense of this dialogue around men are tough, men are providers, men crack on, they don't show feelings? Where did that come from for you?
It's interesting. Before you asked that question, you're framing it. I could already feel myself going back to that time. It was already like there was an awareness there. I remember growing up and with my brother, my middle brother, and we had a moment recently. Actually, we were in the car and this song by Michael Jackson came on. It was Just Leave Me Alone. Michael Jackson, I can't sing it, but Just Leave Me Alone.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of his smash hits, but I'll always remember it. 'Cause I remember I used to say to him, "Just leave me alone. I wish you'd just leave me alone." And he'd sing that song to me. So we were in the car on the way somewhere recently, and that song came on, and I was like, "Do you remember this song?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "You used to sing this song to me when I was saying, just leave me alone." Anyway, so it's still very clearly there, but I learned that it kind of brought him more engagement when he could see that he was impacting me. It was like he felt that was nourishing. No, it wasn't nourishing him. He was getting what he wanted from seeing that. So it almost just became my journey was to just take it, just crack on.
To numb out.
Just numb out. I was safer. If it didn't impact me, then I was doing okay.
Yeah.
And then even better if I could prove that I was cool.
Yeah.
Then I get the validation. That was kind of the next step. But it started with just like, okay, don't cry, don't express. No one's going to save you. It's just going to antagonize more. So let's just, and then obviously, that tied into so many other patterns playing rugby. I remember having an experience as must have been about 11 or something, and one of the coaches trying to G us up for our big game, and he was like, "Right, look at the person next to you and give them a slap around the face." And I remember sort of sitting there, it was quite sudden, getting suddenly whacked around the face, and then started to cry. And I was like, "What the hell just happened?" And it was like so embarrassing, and this is absolutely not what's meant to happen. I can't imagine what the coach was feeling, but just like none of that fitted in. That was a no. Yeah. If I wanted to thrive, and the whole story was just, if I wanted to thrive, it's absolutely to not be this. And I was a sensitive boy, as you can feel. Yeah. Be someone. The story would be someone that you're not, and that hurt.
And the response is to shut down your feelings, right?
Yeah, shut down. Yeah, be the man that you believe you need to be to thrive. And feeling was no part of that.
Yeah, and without pointing the finger, because we're all in a chain that goes way back into ancestry. I take it that your parents were able to provide for you, but not really show you how to express emotion.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my mum is a beautiful feminine woman and very emotional, very sensitive, very kind. A lot of things I thought were beautiful in this world, but weren't for me. Well, I wasn't allowed to be them. Yeah. And so saw from my dad a very stoic, crack on. Yeah. And that was the frame. That was the narrative, wasn't it? Yeah, totally. Okay. Yeah.
What happened after that first retreat? Where did you've left the retreat. You said you left the retreat with deep connection to other men, a feeling of that you're on the journey of just embodying more of who you are. I'm guessing that you touched some feelings, although I remember having a conversation with you that you had more capacity to feel. Where did you go next, Ben, after that shake up?
I'd say that the best way that I kind of kept trying to sort of lean into my practice, because I knew I wanted this, I knew there was something there was more potential, and it felt more and more good to me. And doing this kind of stuff, I was coming back more and more to myself. So I wanted to keep leaning in. It's hard when you leave that space, you connect with this band of brothers, and there'd be an open sharing, you'd feel heard and seen. I go back to London, and I don't feel that anymore. But I remember, I always come back to this sense that's like to go back to the sharing my love for my mum. It felt uncomfortable, but it also felt right. So my journey continued to be like, don't worry about the discomfort, like what's right for you, what's true for you. And so my kind of daily practice, what comes to me right now is like lean into the cringe. So what makes me cringe? What do I want to avoid? Like, okay, how can I step into this? A big part for me, big edge for me was, dancing, expressing, moving my body. That was another no-no.
Me too.
So yeah, so we did a lot of that, so going to things like, dance places where I dance, no alcohol. I mean, it genuinely felt unobtainable to me, like just not possible, and never me. Now, having done it a number of times, now it feels natural.
Yeah.
But just leaning into those kind of things that I once judged as not me, discomfort, all the things. Like, how can I make these things more familiar?
Yeah.
Because somewhere within me, they felt right.
Mm-hmm. It's tough, that, isn't it? I know that you played rugby, and my background is rugby, and whilst I don't have anything against men pushing themselves in a linear way, I don't have anything against long runs, ultra marathons, triathlons, extreme events. But what I would say about my own journey, and I'm telling myself it's about your journey as well, is real toughness for me has been leaning into the difficulty in those non-linear places. For example, non-linear ways of moving, Osho dynamic meditation, different forms of dance, 5 rhythms, ecstatic dance, getting back on the rave dance floor without ecstasy. We can laugh and we can joke about that, but that's been really fucking hard for me. Way, way tougher mentally and emotional than agreeing with you to go and run a marathon or do an ultra endurance event or do back-to-back marathons. And for me, it's been a revelation. Not only can I move freely in non-linear ways now, it's led me to have a more open mind to think in non-linear ways, and not only have I reclaimed those parts within me, but I'm able to relate to the world of the feminine with a lot more connection and less fear. And I know that's been your journey as well, right? Do you want to comment a little bit on what I just said? Because I know we share the same views on that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel I'm a little softer to that. I know you've achieved so much, and your drive has been so powerful in getting to where you've got to and doing all the things and it wasn't as much for me. And I think there's probably more, maybe from my mum, I always had a very strong connection to the feminine energy, to that softness. And I've always innately known it was me. I always feel, when I'm challenged, when I'm forced, that's when I'm kind of pushed. I don't step up in those. I need the arm around me. Yeah. That's my way of so I think our path's slightly different in that sense, because I get the sense that inspired you. So you tell me I can't do it and I'll do it. Whereas for me, it's like you tell me I can't do it and I'll go somewhere else. So I think it's been different in that respect. What I became really clear on is that I was very judgmental, and it was keeping me very trapped. So I would be looking around, judging everyone, as I said, men walking in, looking at them, because I was always I had no validation within myself. I was looking at how can I validate myself? How do I really scanning the room to work out how I can validate. And what I know is that all the judgment that I was pressing on everyone else was keeping me very stuck and repressed and non-expressive, because all the time I'm judging them, I'm expecting people to judge me back. So a big part of my kind of freedom, if you like, it wasn't so much about I'll prove you, I'll show you. It was letting go of like celebrating everyone's journey, celebrating our individuality, letting me be me, you be you, and knowing that we're all shaped in our different ways. And that was what kind of I think has been like my liberation, if you like, acceptance. And for example, you asked me earlier about how my relationship with my brother is. I'd say, in some ways, I'd say we're closer than other, because there's just been acceptance. Sorry, closer than ever before, because there's an acceptance that we're different, rather than me trying to be like him. And so that it all has just come down into just finding who I am and allowing myself to be that.
So when you find a little bit more confident in your own identity, you can allow others to be who they are in their identity, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's one of my superpowers now, is that I let the people around me be themselves, because I know the pain that I went through, how painful it was for me not to be myself. I really want people to just, with me, you've got the space to be yourself.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Let's go into feelings a little bit, because I know that you, in your work, you talk about feelings a lot and opening up to the array of feelings that move through us and why that's important. And we know already that it's a big part of your journey. And it's a tricky area for men, you know, this domain of feelings. Sometimes they don't get it. But again, if we relate it to our own journeys, I'll relate it to my journey here. You know, as men, we do need structure and direction. You know, we need structure, we need verticality, we need to be grounded, connected to something bigger than ourselves, a route, some drive, a few targets along the way, and then boom, action. You know, we need structure because as men we like to build things. But for me, when I cut off the other part of me growing up, the non-structured, non-linear, sensual, sensory-based way of interacting with the world in emotional flow, it limited me. I was never really able to feel the juice of life. I'd achieve a target, and then another target, and another target, and another target, and more money, and more degrees, and more accreditations, but I never lived. The living, juicy aspect of life comes from this domain of being so connected, loving, accepting, and present in our bodies that we allow the language of emotion to move through, because it's a language of emotion that connects us with this world and connects us with each other. What other practices have you delved into in order to access more of your feeling capacity?
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because you can say to someone, you've got to feel it. And, you know, someone said that to me back in, you know, my late 20s. It'd be like, oh, I'd love to. But
yeah. And other guys would say, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right. And it just, and you kind of convince yourself that you're just not really a feeling person. It's not, because it's so disconnected. It's so unfamiliar.
Yeah.
So that was my story.
You've hit something really powerful though, that happens to a lot of men. I'm not really a feeling person, which is a huge limiting belief. I mean, even being born as a human being with this body and these energy centers and a soft belly and a heart that beats and extends far out into the future, we are feeling beings, right? So again, I interrupted you there because it was a really important point, a limiting belief that men carry. What's worked for you, mate? What have you dived into?
Well, just on that, to give context, you know, I was frequently told dead inside. I'm told, I don't know if this is a bad phrase to express, told I was emotionally retarded. You know, black and white, that's how I was. And that was the label. And I was kind of proud when I received that. You know, we'd laugh about it. I speak to my brother about another label. That's like kind of almost well done. You can't hurt me. You know, so like the context being, we sit and have this conversation. It used to be dead inside. Yeah. I remember the first time I did breathwork, and didn't really want to be there, even though I was on my journey. But I thought, I've got a lot of shit still to sort out in my life, but breathing is not one of them. I can do that one, but as a friend, I'll sit with you and have this experience. And did it with this friend of mine, amazing man. And then I was like, what the hell? And just, I said to you earlier, for me, when we breathe, it can be the physical embodiment of getting out of the head and what I describe as the heart, the place where there is truth, beneath all the noise of the subjectivity of the mind. And in there is a lot of feeling and just connection, clarity. That's what I hear so often in breathwork. So much clarity of just truth, of just knowing. And I mean, obviously I work as a breathwork guide now, and I see emotion come through so often. It's not only a tool that served me, but one that I wanted to bring alive, because as men, you know, feelings are not rational experiences. We're not here to rationalize the experience. There's no connection in that. We're here to feel the feelings without judgment. And when we quieten the mind in breathwork and we allow ourselves to get into the depths of what's there, I've seen so many men dead inside come in and be in balls of tears, floods of tears. And it's beautiful.
And sometimes euphoric laughter too, right?
Totally, a bit of both. They don't know whether they're laughing or crying. You know, it's just all happening.
Which is the domain of the feminine, isn't it? You know, 1 minute the feminine is laughing and crying and then cross and then pissed off and then scared and then goofy and then...
all the things.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and listen, for me, liberation is letting yourself feel what you feel. You don't have to do anything with it. You just let yourself be.
Yeah.
And there's no agenda to it.
Yeah.
And breathwork for me gave me permission. It was like it was the embodiment of all the things that we speak about. And if there's one thing that's missing in this world for me right now, is that there's more and more awareness, more and more understanding. People can listen to the podcast, they can read the books, all this information is everywhere. It's almost information overload. What we need is the embodied presence.
Yeah.
We need to feel it in the people, not just talk it. We need to feel it in them. And breathwork is the best tool that I've come across that allows access to feel your feelings.
Let's go deeper into breathwork. It's funny you mentioned the word embodied presence. I was actually writing a chapter I was refining a chapter in my book this morning, and the title of the chapter was Embodied Presence. And it's the first pillar in my leadership pillars that I'm going to use in a retreat that's coming up. It's so important.
What does it mean for you?
It means for me being present with everything that is arising in my felt sense within my body. And being open to that and feeling all of that. Because in my experience of accessing more presence, you know, I can train my attention to be outside of my body. I can train my attention to be here in the seat of the witness, but real presence in this earthly realm is embodied. It's fiery. It's inside my body. And when my attention is inside the experience within my body, and of course, granted, it can't always be if I'm thinking or creating projects or designing a program with you. We need to be in our heads. But whenever my attention is in the felt sense experience of what's going on in this body, problems don't exist. Regret doesn't exist because I'm not in the past. Anxiety can't exist because I'm not in the future. It just is. It just is what it is, and that is the domain of human connection. And connection not only to myself and the others, but connection to this world and the beautiful nature within this world. And that's what embodied presence is for me.
I hear you. It's beautiful, yeah. And it takes me back to a friend describing their experience after a 10-day Vipassana meditation. And they were talking about sort of halfway through or towards the end, you know, they would collectively kind of have their breaks, no talking, but they'd be out in the garden and they'd find like so much fascination in the ant walking across the pavement.
Sure.
You know, in that level of stillness, there is fascination in everything. Yeah. Everything can be beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
When we're in our heads so busy running around, we don't even notice anything.
Yeah.
And there is so much unexplored beauty in this world.
Yeah.
But again, like I would have, back in the day, I'd have been like, but I just don't care about whatever sunsets. Yeah, you know, nice, but I don't need to look at it for long or whatever. And now, same person, but ability to be able, you know, not ability, a desire to want to just be with it.
And when you can see it and feel it, it's like nobody can tell me that life's not magical anymore. Like I used to think, if somebody said to me life is magic, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, there's just magic everywhere if you're able to see it and feel it.
Of course it's magic. Like it really is magic, right? I mean, even a logical mind, really, if they stopped, couldn't say it's not magic.
Yeah.
It's totally magic. It's being able to see the magic that I think is, and that comes from embodied presence.
And finally getting out of the roots of limiting beliefs and feeling stuck and trauma, even though I don't always love that word, but just kind of being able to lift ourselves out of that and see above the trees. Breathwork, I want to go into it a little bit more, because the reason I want to go into it a little bit more is because I've been on this kind of men's coaching journey for a while. I've coached a lot of men, tried a lot of different things, and there's a lot of requests now in the world of social media, especially for men to speak up more. You know, men must learn to talk. And I just want to change the narrative of that. I want to say, all right, but what about if we change the slogan to men need to talk, men must learn how to breathe with a full dynamic breath, and men must learn how to move with freedom. That's, if it's only talking, it's limited. We're not going to see transformation in men that you and I want to see. They've got to get in touch with the breath, with the feelings, with the body, and move and really learn to love this suit, this human suit that we've incarnated in. Talk to me about how the breath is related to our feeling body, our emotions, and how it can either prevent access to that, and it can also really open a full breadth of space for those feelings and emotions to be felt.
Yeah, just to start one stage further back than that, and reflecting on what you shared, you know, that whole men need to talk more. Yes, they do, but what facilitates the talking? Because you can't just, it's a bit like, tell me how you're feeling. I don't know what I'm feeling. Well, how can I tell you? It's like, you need to talk more. Well, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I can't find the words. I don't know what the words are.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, what facilitates the talking? Everything you just mentioned facilitates the talking. The breath being, the breath is direct access to the nervous system, right?
Yeah.
And the breath is the feedback to the nervous system in what's going on in our world, and how we breathe is one of the key triggers. And obviously there are certain practices that can take people into a different dimension, a different world by breathing in certain patterns. But on a day-to-day level, if we're breathing in a way that's telling our nervous system this is like an unsafe time, which might sound dramatic, but if you're walking really fast, panicking about the emails that you haven't sent yet, and you're late to work, and you've got this every day on repeat, then you're going to be breathing in a way that's saying to your body, your nervous system, we're not safe. That's how it will interpret it. And from a place of not safe, it's not time to feel your feelings as such. Time to crack on, like take the action, do the stuff, go. And that feels normal and familiar. And then as it feels normal and familiar, it's our identity, it's our label, it's who we are. I'm just not a feeling person. It's like, well, if you slow your breath and you give your body permission to understand that it's safe right now, then feelings might have an opportunity to arise. And so for many of us, I mean, I don't know how many years I existed in my life without realizing I meant to breathe into my belly. And just the natural length of breathing into the belly means that if I breathe into my belly, it will slow the breath down. And if the breath is slowing, the parasympathetic nervous system is more engaged. Like, not like 101 when I say it, it's like, it's really not complicated. But we have no idea. And most people are breathing in a way that keeps them constantly on high alert.
Fight or flight, chronic fight or flight.
Right.
It's a world of perceived threat. Everything's a threat, isn't it?
Everything's a threat. So then we're in competition. We're in constant do-go mode to try and create more safety, but it's never gonna create safety.
The breath for me, it's just been a game changer. It's just the fastest way to return to love.
So beautiful.
I know that's a big part of your message. Whether it's the fastest way to return to balance, love, whatever we want to call it.
Presence.
And it can be instantaneous.
It can, totally, And I mean, you know, there's psychedelics, there's plant medicine that can take you there, and it's kind of easier. You know, it's easier to take something than use what we have within. And there is some hard work to those kind of experiences. You can't just take one breath and now I'm present and now I'm feeling love. It can take time, and there needs to be a process that you go through to get there that can feel hard and can really challenge the mind. Again, this is, you know, for someone who is very much like needs to be in control, inviting breathing patterns that ultimately is going to take the mind out of control can be really triggering. Scary. So it's, you know, how is it held? How you taken? And I still experience it to this day. You know, people, they just won't let go of control, so they won't breathe in the ways that will let them go of control. You know, ironically.
They just sit there. I mean, it's not judgment, this, by the way, but I'm going to bring some. They just sit there at the back going, And then you got the warrior over here going,
Totally. I do that example. I say, like, on one end we've got this, and the other hand we've got that, and we're trying to meet somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and it might go a little more one way, and might go a little less than one way, but you know, there's the terminology breathwork. There can be some work to this. And that is one of the challenges, I think, in this world. People would rather take something, or do, or, you know, what's an easier path? Because I don't want to do that again.
Let's talk a bit about safety though as well in breathwork, because it is a big process if you go for it. It can move a lot. It can touch memories. It can touch trauma. It can be potentially dangerous if it's not held well, right? If it's not held well, it's going to be ridiculed by psychologists, psychiatrists, psychotherapists, medicine. But you and I have experienced it on multiple occasions. It's a fucking game changer. It's revolutionized my life, and it's your life, and so many men that we're aware of. How can you create? How do you create safety for men and women to really lean into that space? And I know you're really proud of the way you hold space like that. How does that look for you?
For me, it starts with something we've already discussed, and that's, you know, embodied presence. That is a safe energy to create. One of the ways that I would create that, depending on the environment, and there is a contrast in this. I need to give it some explanation, but would be to take ownership of my truth in the first place. So I mean, some of my biggest experiences I've had, there's been a huge room, a huge audience at festivals. People are just piling in left, right, and centre. You don't have any control over it, and suddenly you're there looking around, and there's no way I can manage everybody in this area. And is this safe? One of the ways that I intend to create that would be, you know, to sit in silence, to look at the crowd, to let them see me, let them know I'm nervous. This is a lot, you know. It's intense, and the expectation can often be high, and we're here to go on a journey together, and to sit, you know. And I feel goosebumps when I share that. But it's to bring my truth. We're all on a journey together here. You have my full permission, and I'm going to hold you, and I can hold mine. And the key bit and the conflict within that I shared is that if I say it in such a way where I'm shriveled up, I'm a bit scared, everyone. Can someone help me? Not sure how I'm going to do this. Then there's no safety. But if I can look at them and go, yeah, we're here together. There might be a challenge in this.
Grounded, vertical, connected in your heart.
Exactly. Embodied presence in your heart. Embodied presence are kind of same. Then it's permission, and people can feel it, and they might not be able to understand it. They might not logically be able to say this is why it's safe. It's just their experience. Again, it goes back to the sense that I want to give permission for people to be themselves, whether that's laughter or tears, whatever is true for them. And that is where we cultivate presence. And you know, ironically, you can be we probably grow up thinking fixing is great safety, in a sense, like if you change it to make it better so you don't feel this pain that you're feeling now, so therefore I can make you safe. And it just doesn't. We're not here to fix it or change it, but just let people feel what's inside, what wants to be felt. And we're not creating emotion. This isn't, if you come to me, I'm going to make you feel something. I'm going to give you permission to feel what wants to be felt.
You're just creating space, aren't you?
Creating space. Exactly. Holding it. It's welcome. Let's go through this.
Space for things to kind of move through and be processed,
Exactly.
Before we, in a moment, I want to come back to sex in a moment. Before we do that, so I come on a breathwork journey with you. I have a massive shift. Feel euphoric. Realized I've let go of some stuff. Feel into the incredible potential of my body. Left fucking stoked, gobsmacked, but also in a bit of an altered state. Talk to me about the importance of integration after that, and is that one of the reasons why you've decided to create your program?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you know, again, it's one of the challenges. And again, in the same scenario at festivals, for example, people come in, they want to do some breath work. Some people, they want to have a high and they want to do all the things. They want to get out and then they want to go to the next thing and do that. And then they've just bought all this stuff up and then they've gone somewhere else and then just pushed it down again. And then 2 days later, they're wondering why they're feeling off, because all this stuff has come up and now they haven't done anything with it. It's just stuck and it's alive. They can feel it, but it doesn't make sense. They don't know what to do with it. So, yeah, I mean, it's such a cliche, isn't it? And I kind of, part of me sort of judges saying it, but you've got to give yourself space. We are very sensitive. And I think one of the key things within that is, who do you spend your time with? What do you do with this time now? You're open, you're raw. There is a lot there that you might have felt, things that you haven't felt for a long time. You might have gone back to experiences that you don't want to go back to, that you've deliberately pushed down, and they're now there, and you're back in that space. Can someone hold you there? This is in the immediacy, obviously, or are you made to feel shame about it again, or blamed, or bad, or weird, or whatever it might be? So in that immediacy, how are you spending your time? But yeah, there has to be an acknowledgement and acceptance that breathwork can be a deep internal experience that's going to bring things up that you don't necessarily want to feel or experience. And that can be the start of the journey. It's not the complete journey. Yeah. It's just the start of it. So we have to honour that. We're not hit. It's not done.
Of course.
It's now potentially the things begin, and that's where for me it's, you know, I combine breathwork with my coaching, because it can be just the opening. Yeah. What do we do with all that now? Yeah. Where do we go with it? Yeah. And that can be simple, asking questions, getting them to verbalise, talk, express, move. Yeah. Like you say.
It's a big topic though, isn't it?
Very big topic.
You know, you can open yourself up, go home, and be shit scared.
Right. I've had it. I've had calls post festival from people who've managed, you know, reconnected, and you know, they're like, this is people. They've gone. You know, they've visited deceased family members, and it's really alive. They don't know what to do with it. You know, it's not. We can't mess around with this. This is the challenge. And how do you regulate this kind of service? Because it can go, and probably in some capacity, nobody is qualified for the potentiality of what's there. Yeah. Other than being able to embody presence and let it be expressed.
I love that. I love what you just said there. Arguably, who is ready to help this person regulate? It's certainly not a medical doctor.
No.
But group programs are a step in the right direction, aren't they? You know, where there is breathwork sessions happening, but there's a container of support. And you've just created your own container, right?
Yeah, so I felt the benefit of breathwork a long time ago, similar time to when we connected, roughly. It was the embodiment of getting out of my head and into my heart. And I talked about that all the time, and then suddenly I felt it in that 45 minutes, whatever it was. And it was a tool that I felt was missing from my practice for a long time, and then it's quickly become a prominent one. And it's my belief that coaches, therapists, wellness professionals, this is very much a should, and who am I to project, but it's just my opinion, should have access or understanding of being able to utilise the breath, whether it's a prominent tool or a subtle tool they occasionally use. You should have the ability to use it. Yeah. And it took me a long time to find the right training that I needed and wanted. So over the years, it's been, people have asked, and it felt a real edge for me. Who am I to bring out training and to train others? And but I kind of got pushed into this. Really has to happen now. Like, it really has to happen. Yeah. And so I had to really push my edge, and created it this year. I've got a school. I call it Heart Opening Breathwork, because that's what the experience is for me. It opens my heart.
And that's not only for practitioners, right? You know, you'll get certification at the end, but it's also part of someone's evolution of healing journey too, right? They don't have to be a practitioner, yeah?
It's 100% part of their healing, because that, you know, if we're talking about embodied presence, you know, all the stuff that sits inside of us ultimately stops us being present. I think you can feel the level of work someone's done in them, either naturally or deliberately, by how present they're able to be, right? How taken away from themselves are they? So there is a whole process in deepening presence so that you can guide others from that embodied present state.
Great. Yeah. And that's coming out in February, right?
Yeah, that's round 2 in February. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's go back to talk about sex, because it's an important topic, and it's one that men don't talk about because they're scared of talking about it because it's taboo. And it's probably, as I get older on my journey, in my coaching journey, I realize that a lot of our problems are actually not in the head, they're actually in this incapacity to feel. And a lot of men's problems are around their sexuality. I remember Freud saying, you know, the way you are with yourself sexually is the way you engage with the world. So the relationship to our bodies, which is this vehicle of sexual life force, the relationship with our genitals is for me directly related to our relationship with the world. How many men have a loving relationship with the body and the genitals? Not many. Not many. We just cut off. So you mentioned earlier that, you know, you sought a coach out because you realized that you were struggling to orgasm. Looking back at your younger life, do you have some clarity now around whether that was some anatomical dysfunction or it was just simply that you'd cut off your connection to feeling your sexual energy? The latter.
I think that was a big part of it. I think it was a bit of a cocktail of things.
Right.
You know, sex for me was performance, not something I really necessarily enjoyed outside of the chase and the, you know, the excitement of it. It was an effort, and then often an effort without reward. You know, I famously remember, I say famously because I'm often reminded of it, but my first serious girlfriend, I told her like having sex with her was like going for a run. You know, and often I didn't want to go for a run. You know, just completely disembodied. But I think it started, just a key part of it, didn't know how to feel. Didn't have to feel anything. I was just having, you know, I'm what? I'm what? So that was a key part of it. But yeah, I think there are a lot of moving parts that were this cocktail that the end result was, doesn't do much for me. Yeah.
And has there been a shift in your journey? Can you now feel more energy in your body? Can you feel more energy in the lower centers? Are you able to move the energy to those centers through your capacity to manipulate the breath? Have you experienced a shift? You're smiling.
Yeah, I have, because it's as you're saying that, like I've had experiences where, you know, I still talk about my journey within, and then some women would say, you know, you're lying about it. I've never experienced this problem. I do still carry scars around sex. It's still definite work for me to do. But there's been a
here.
Yeah. Well, listen, it excites me because it's like there's so much to step into, and there's so much more, and I can get. But I haven't prioritized it time-wise because I've had so many other things. But it's I should have done. But I just, to be honest, I have invested with different people along the way. I've never quite got the results, and I've kind of been like, well, you know, it's just I'm not getting the results. I need to do other stuff, and life goes on. But so there's still a whole lot to uncover. But you're right, and there's an element, I wouldn't say shame, but there's part of me that's like, I know I've got more potential because I know I'm not expressing it fully in my sex life. And
how is sex for you now compared to 10 years ago? What's different?
What is most different is that for me to really have a deeply fulfilling sex life requires deep, vulnerable intimacy beyond lust. I have lust at the beginning. Lust, naturally, being the nature of lust, runs dry after a while. From then on, for me, it goes into an emotional, intimate connection. And without that, I still lack a desire for sex. And there needs to be, it's an experience together. And if I'm not feeling connected to them, then I still feel withdrawn.
Got you.
So there's still a lot of work to do.
Got you.
But if anything, I'm kind of proud I've got to the place where I acknowledge that sex requires a deep emotional connection. The challenge is finding the person I can meet in that space.
Yeah. How is your deep emotional connection to your own sexual energy compared to 10 years ago?
Again, a lot of work to do. And that's, the two come together, right?
Yeah, 100%.
We're talking about, God, I don't know, 15, 20 years of conditioning of the chase to get to orgasm.
Yeah.
And that being difficult. So like, let's fucking go for it. As quick, I've got to do it all the things as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll get there. It's a whole reconditioning.
It's tough, isn't it?
It is.
Again, coming back to the book that I'm writing, I wrote a book the other night. Well, I refined a chapter the other night and it's on sex.
Yeah.
I would have never spoken about sex 20 years ago, but it has to be spoken about.
Yeah.
And how we're conditioned to be like porn stars, and how we think women enjoy that growing up. And man, I've worked with a lot of clients, and the common theme is that I've been with my wife for so many years, the sex has run dry. She's gone off sex. But when we rewind right back to the start and realize that he's been having sex like a porn star, which is friction, a race to ejaculation, it's no wonder that his wife backs off. It's no wonder that she closes. It's no wonder that her nervous system doesn't feel safe with him in that intimate space. So the slowing down, the embodied presence piece, the regulation of the breath, the application of gentleness through our touch, these are things that nobody taught us. That help women to feel safe. It's a massive journey for all men.
It is. There's a book, Slow Sex. Have you read that one?
No.
It's got like 2 tables, like sort of normal or fast sex and slow sex, and it spoke to me so clearly. Again, like gave me permission, I think, to be like, that sounds really, just really slowly, gently, like lightly, like teasing the body, rather than like. And I actually remember having sexual experience quite a few years back, but into my journey, where it was that again. It was like, tear all the clothes off, quick, go.
Yeah.
And I remember like, no, I don't want that anymore. Once upon a time, I'd been like amazing, hot, passionate, raw sex. I'm like, I want to, let's let this build. Yeah. Slow.
That's where I'm at right now with my new girlfriend. But it still comes in sometimes. That teenager that wants to get it over with and ravish, and it's just, now I'm catching it and stopping it, and it's new for me. It still comes in, doesn't it?
It does, but I do kind of feel like there's a point where you give in. It's like then ravish.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that is, like, for me, build the tension, build it slow, right? And then it's like, okay, well, now.
It's such a beautiful meditation to slow down. It's such a beautiful practice.
I kind of feel, I feel like how I behave on a Saturday night is different to how I behave on a Sunday morning. And I feel there is capacity sometimes to embrace that part.
Of course.
But definitely not all the time. The majority of the time I want it to be sensual. Yeah. And again, I feel so much sensuality in the breath that the two can go like hand in hand.
Yeah, for sure.
I experience people having orgasms in my breath work. Not all the time, but it you got a group, there's an orgasm in there. Yeah. Just from the breath.
Yeah.
I actually am considering, it's a bit of a tangent, but I feel it might interest you, of creating an orgasmic breathwork session.
Yes.
It's
Do
good.
it, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel it's the time.
Yeah.
And that's the goal.
Yeah. I was on a Joe Dispenza retreat last year in America. Yeah. I actually did 2 last year, but I was on one in Dallas, day 5, and we'd done this long meditation in the morning. And then I needed to go for a piss. And I went for a piss, and they won't let me back in because the rule is if you go out, you can't go back in. But I was so deep in the practice that we'd just done. And when I got back to the big room, I could still hear the meditation on the speaker. I just said, oh, fuck it then, I'll just lie on the ground. And in that moment, I let go of control, just lied on the ground. And for 30 minutes, people must have thought, well, not the people there, because they were probably celebrating me or just, it's normal, but if any of my mates would have seen me or my parents or my family, I was just like a shaking fucking leaf for half an hour. I was having a full body orgasm, half an hour. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And it was a combination of extreme euphoria, but also fucking pain as the energy was trying to move through my whole body, this emotion of love moving through me. And something left me, and some kind of upgrade happened in my nervous system. But to feel that much potential is incredible. Not that people should chase that. I think that can be a dangerous world again. But it was, and it was absolutely incredible. I'd experienced that before in the lower parts of my body, but never through the whole of my body and around my body. It was just, it was incredible.
I so get that. Beautiful. I mean, this is what's possible. You know, we've had the way that we live in this conditioned world. You know, and actually there is so much more possibility within us all.
For sure.
As you just explained.
So, mate, if your life is a movie and it's on right now at the big screen and the cinema is full with people that are rooting for you and they're watching you and they've watched your life movie so far until this point, and some of them are even shouting, "Go, Ben, make sure you do that, really go for it, Ben." What are they telling you to do next with your life?
Oh God, that's a good question. I had it at the last weekend, this men's retreat we were on. We had sharing circles. Someone, much like what we've experienced, someone was at the front. You receive where people can see your growth. You know, it was just shouted at me. People were saying, you know, go global, bring your breath work globally. It's, you know, just hearing it on numerous accounts from all these different people. You know, I received that, and I feel that I bring something very authentic to breath work, and I've just had too much evidence to know that it's not really special what I do. And so there's that little boy inside of me that says I'm not good enough, but there's so much evidence to tell me that's not, that I just got to go with that. So, you know, take my school, take my teachings, and I think there's so much good in this work that I'm just going to be proud to bring it alive. And there's a lot of moving parts to that kind of scare me, but ultimately, you know, keep leaning into the gift that others see in me, and let myself celebrate it.
Beautiful. So this kind of whole vocational of bringing breathwork to the world is a big part of your mission.
When I do breath work, I always feel like this is what I was born to do. So it's very clear for me,
Yeah, you're blessed.
I found my thing. My thing.
And you were searching for a long time, weren't you?
Yeah.
And you were frustrated for a long time, weren't you?
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel very fortunate. For me, it's always it's an honor.
Yeah.
Such an honor to hold space every time. I often say to people, I love this work more than my life, because the level of connection, that experience, and the intimacy, and the vulnerability, and what it creates. It's very hard to create that in your day-to-day life. Yeah. So I feel very, very honored.
Yeah. Well, mate, I'm celebrating you and your journey of courage, which, you know, I don't see you running ultra marathons, but I do see you leaning into what really matters to you, and showing a different form of courage there. So I honor you for that. And I've enjoyed this conversation with you. And where can my viewers find more about Ben Bidwell? Yeah,
message me on Instagram, my website. I find it overwhelming, I'll be honest. So I've really tried to scale back and keep my circle small. Yeah. But you know, I welcome working with the right people. Yeah. And deepening my offering. And I've really enjoyed sitting with you again, Craig. It's been a while, but it's been beautiful to sit in this conversation. Thank you for having me.
No, thanks, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And also, I've got some news for you. Is I'm going to be leaning into the group space again. In January, I'm going to be putting on a leadership intensive, which will be a 4-day event in West Yorkshire. So watch this space. And I hope you've enjoyed this pod, and I will see you on the next one.